Now is the worst time for blacks and browns to be divided. At this very moment, the system of white supremacy is fortifying itself. It's literally making itself stronger by erasing all of the civil rights gains made by African Americans during the 1960s. Those gains benefited all minority groups. And while they're doing so, the U.S. black and brown communities are presently arguing against each other. Since the Trump administration came into power, the division and animosity between the black and brown communities have greatly escalated. Many within the the brown communities are complaining that they're not getting enough support from the black communities. And many within the black communities respond by saying, why should we help them, given that it was most of them that voted against their own interests by putting Trump back in the White House? I know that we're not monolithic. We're not all going to respond the same way to Trump's election. And I fully understand why both groups feel as we do. However, these are emotional responses instead of intellectual responses. If we respond using our intellect, we would ask ourselves, does these responses benefit us? Are they within our best interests? Who benefits most from this division? The system of white supremacy benefits from it. Many black people have also experienced racism from brown communities for many decades that also fuels this current animosity towards the brown communities. I experienced this firsthand as a teenager growing up in Miami and being called by the N-word by many Cubans that declared themselves as being white, even while in high school from Cuban students. Therefore, it came as no surprise to me that many Cubans voted for Trump. Many within the Latino communities were made to feel by the Republican Party that if they vote for them, they'll be treated as whites. The reality was quite different. And many within the Latino communities are now experiencing voters' remorse. Many are now protesting across the nation, posting online, expressing their frustrations with the lack of black support. Many of us are saying online that Latinos effed up and got what they deserved. And while this current back and forth is going on between us, at this very moment, the system of white supremacy is becoming stronger. These behaviors among us are outrageous. When I was a kid, I read a quote that was stated by one of the white ruling elites, a Winston Churchill, who said that the common man is a fool, and that the masses are easily manipulated and are therefore foolish. This current division that exists between the black and brown communities is a glaring example of those statements. Regardless of our past experiences and regardless of who put Trump back in the White House, now is not the time to be divided. Think about this fact. While we're arguing online against each other, Donald Trump and Elon Musk are laughing because they benefit from this online back and forth. When we are engaging in behaviors that benefits our oppressors, we must stop doing that behavior. We must instead do the opposite. And the opposite is we must unify. As a black man, I know of the frustration that we experience from racism from the brown communities, from both the Latinos and the Arab communities. But I also know that those groups were deliberately manipulated by propaganda campaigns deployed by the white ruling class to have the disdainment against the African American population that many currently have. Doing so was necessary to protect the nation's system of white supremacy. It was necessary to tarnish the image of African Americans, given the unprecedented unified black protests demonstrated by African Americans during the 1960s. The unified protest demonstrated by African Americans through the 1960s was unprecedented, and it still remains unrivaled by any other group in U.S. history. Those protest strategies resulted in an enactment of many civil rights laws that improved the lives of all minority groups. Therefore, while all ethnic groups possess the potential to bring about real change within the United States, only African Americans have produced such changes. African Americans had unknowingly proven themselves as being the greatest threat against the U.S. system of white supremacy. Within all warfare, the minority group that represents the greatest threat against the establishment is always targeted the harshest. Within all manners of warfare, the image of the group representing the greatest threat, their image is severely tarnished. The reason why the white society falsely denigrates, marginalizes, and criminalizes the image of African Americans is a propaganda campaign known as group character assassination. It tarnishes our image to erode our credibility, thus making it difficult for our group to lead any other minority groups in any future revolts against the white establishment. That's why they target us so harshly. The brown people currently look down upon the black population because of that propaganda campaign. If you don't understand the system of white supremacy, everything they do will only confuse you. This is why those of us who know must teach. We must stop being easily gullible and easily manipulated pawns within the white man's game. Now is the time for the black and brown to unify. It's within our best interest. These people who are online saying they effed up and messed up, and Latinos who are arguing, you are gullible, ignorant, and naive. The ignorant, gullible, and naive are always the easiest victim of the white oppressors' divide and conquer propaganda campaigns. Now is the time to unify. One love and peace. Wake the hell up.